Hey guys, welcome back to the Inner Confidence Podcast, the show that helps you go from good to elite in your dating life. In this episode, I'm answering real questions from the guys inside the IC community, guys who are putting in reps, making moves, and running into the same exact challenges that most men face when they're trying to level up. You're listening to the Inner Confidence Podcast. My name is Robbie Kramer. I've been a coach since 2007, and I've helped countless men rapidly achieve all of their social and dating goals. My mission is simple: to help you position yourself to meet stunning women, make awesome friends, en route to becoming the most confident and attractive version you can possibly be. I'm absolutely obsessed with giving you the most leveraged ways possible to win the game, so stick around, let's go. I'll share a personal story, the awkward phases I went through in my own personal development, and what shifted for me over time. A few of you might be in the exact same phase right now. Well, I went through some interesting stages in my development. So in the beginning, I was just like, I just want a girlfriend, right? Just give me anything so I could have someone or feel not lonely. And then I was able to get dates. Wasn't getting a lot of second dates. Then I was able to get second dates and third dates. But only from girls who wanted me to be their boyfriend. And then the only way that sex would happen is if they felt like there was some sort of commitment happening, right? And then as I got more attractive and boosted my, sexual market value, more girls were willing to have like casual relationships, especially when I got in better shape, right? Basically, when I was overweight, like, the only girls I was ever banging were like a girlfriend who was like, okay, this guy's maybe not the hottest guy. I certainly wouldn't choose him for a one night stand, but he makes a good boyfriend and he'll take care of me and that sort of thing.
I get it. Basically, your product, as your product gets better, you basically are able to offer less commitment and still have sex.
Exactly. And then, during that phase, I might be able to keep a rotation girl around for like 3 months. Right? A casual sort of thing. And then 3 months or 4 months would go by and then she'd be like, all right, well, I want more. And then it would kind of blow up. But then as I continued to get even better, I realized I was keeping rotation girls around for years. And they understood that like, okay, Robbie's never going to commit to me, but sex is great. I have a great time with him. He takes me amazing places. His friends are cool. My life is just so much better by being a part of Robbie's life. Why would I not continue, doing all the things? Real quick, if you're a divorced guy trying to figure out modern dating, I put together something special for you. It's called the Social Funnel Method, and it's a 5-day free email course I made just for guys like you. Guys who want to date high-quality women and build a lifestyle that actually feels good again. You'll learn exactly what works today, not 10 years ago, and how to stand out in a world of dating apps, ghosting, and Instagram. Head over to innerconfidence.com/start to get step 1 sent straight to your inbox. It's totally free. Go do it now, and let's rebuild your dating life in the right way. The next question is from a guy in the group, and that's how to friend zone a girl that you're interested in, but she's already kind of put you in the friend zone, but she keeps wanting to hang out with you. And I'll explain the actual question in a second. But how do you kind of do that without making things weird? Somebody texted me, a guy who used to be in the group a long time ago. He asked me, Robbie, at what point would you say it's too late to put a chick into social circle? And he lists that she's an ex-colleague. She has a boyfriend. Said we went out for drinks the other night, me and her, and had a great time. Lots of touching. She dressed to the absolute nines. She friend zoned me first. I didn't make a move on her, but I did say I wanted to kiss her. And I like her more than a friend. And she genuinely wants to do things with me, like friend stuff, festivals, etc. And he said, I said to her jokingly, I don't accept the friend zone and to call me when she breaks up with her man. She continues to like all my stories every time I post. Would it be still possible to hang out with her as a friend and utilize her in social circle? How could I ask her to hang out again or just leave it? 2 extra pieces of it. He says she seems bored as fuck. She seemed genuinely upset when I told her I would be moving away. And she said she has no friends or a social circle and prefers to be friends with guys as they're less bitchy.
You're saying he wants to be friends with her now. That's his
He's
goal.
wondering if he should utilize her for his social circle, if there's any value of being her friend, given she has a boyfriend, but she really likes hanging out with him, and she's very flirtatious when they hang out. But he's obviously in the friend zone, and he's not going to be getting out of it anytime soon.
He doesn't. It's not like he really wants to like screw over the other guy. He doesn't really want to try to sleep with her, not while she has a boyfriend.
Right.
I'm assuming. Right.
He's just wondering if she would be a valuable sort of player in his social circle.
I think so. Sure. I mean, if for pre-selection or whatever. Right. Possibly. Sure.
Yeah, I think given the fact that she's hot, and she wants to hang out with him, and she has a boyfriend, I think that's actually great for social circle because it forces him to effectively, use her to attract other women and build pre-selection. The only one downside is that she seems like she prefers hanging out with guys and she doesn't have a lot of female friends. I've seen that with certain types of girls where, they kind of chum it up with guys, and it's usually because they kind of have turbulent relationships with girls. They don't get along that well with other girls. Sometimes they're really competitive, and that can be the reason. Obviously, a better girl for that sort of thing would be a girl who has lots of cute friends, but she would still provide value from pre-selection standpoint. And so yeah, I think it's always good to have female friends. So it's like, why not? But that would be the drawback, I would say. Now this next part is gold if you care about meeting women in real life. One guy asked about how to find parties and events with a better ratio of girls to guys, and I break down the real method for scouting these spots, even when they're not publicized. When it comes to finding places with good ratios, right, where there's at least 50-50 girls and guys, very, very difficult because men are very incentivized to go out because they want to go get laid, and women are not as incentivized to go out because obviously it takes a lot more for them to get made up and dressed and do other things and find a friend, and then they don't really care that much about going out and getting laid. Maybe if they're, in the special cycle of the month, but primarily maintaining a ratio is kind of a dirty job. It's something that people don't like to talk about and advertise because not only are you maintaining a ratio, but you're doing a version of face control, right? Where you're trying to only let pretty people in, especially women, because these establishments understand that if beautiful women are at the place, guys will come and spend money. And same with sort of private parties. Everybody wants beautiful women and they want guys who are rich. That's what every party and every nightclub bar is going for. So to maintain that, right, like that's a bouncer's job, right? The bouncer's job or the doorman's job is to be very selective about who they let in, but make it not seem like that, right? They need to pretend that that's not happening. Obviously, some countries are more hardcore about it. Like
here, it's like less PC about it, and so other places it's more politically correct. So you can't really do that thing. Here, it's just like they're not that PC. So
no, in Eastern Europe, they're just like, we call it face control. And if you don't have a pretty face, you're not getting in as a woman, right? Because what incentive is it if the guy shows up to that place and there's a bunch of ugly girls or just guys, the guys aren't going to spend money there. So when it comes to private event, like, so this is true of bars and clubs. And in the US, they don't call it face control, right? But like they'll do, I've seen all sorts of girls get turned away for like ridiculous things, like, oh, you have the wrong outfit on, and the outfit, there's nothing wrong with the outfit, right? And then they're like pressing like, why, right? And then, there was like a woman, a lot of the time in the US, you have these female door women or door girls, right? And it's better for them to turn away the ugly girls because, it's female versus a door guy doing it, then he could get in trouble for harassment or God knows what the hell, someone might complain about if it's a man at the door. But here you see that a lot in the US at the more exclusive venues when they're trying to maintain the ratio. So if you're looking for private parties that maintain a ratio, like you're just not going to find them because first of all, they're not going to advertise for them. And if they do advertise like that, it looks grimy. It looks gross, right? Like if somewhere on the advertisement, it says we maintain a solid ratio of men to women, like you just look fucking like
flyer. In Istanbul, I showed you a flyer.
I know, but anything that says that's the giveaway that it's probably going to be bad because they have to say it, right? Like the way that I maintained this during my events or events I went through was we were very careful about who saw the list. And then we would only give details about where the party was to specific people that were invited. And we were careful also that the invited people knew that they were not welcome to bring random people who weren't on the list, right? So when people would ask me, hey, can I bring a friend? It's not like I would want to say, are they a girl or are they a guy, right? I would say, well, you can add them to the group and I can let you know if we have space. So you're doing all of this sort of undercover signaling to try to curate the right crowd. Yeah, I'm not sure you're going to find, like, basically you have to know high value guys and they have to invite you. And if you don't know high value guys yet, then you got to go out and you got to meet them and you got to demonstrate that you're high value, or you can host parties and then high value guys will find you. But yeah, I don't think there's any value in like searching. I mean, you maybe, I mean, you tell me, have you found any by searching? It's just usually
I mean, the last one of the parties we went to that actually me and went to in Warsaw, Poland, was we went to a really cool party. It started out looking kind of bad because it was like women who were like close to 40. It started looking kind of bad. And then after an hour or so, that kind of crowd cleared out and a different crowd came in. And it was like everyone was really young, everyone was college age, and it was like a lot of.
Well, how'd you find the party? What was it?
It was a friend of mine, but what?
So you were invited?
Yeah, I was invited, but one of the girls there told me that like it was organized by her university department. So anytime these university departments, like the law school or whatever, organizes something with the other department in the university there, they kind of collaborate and all it kind of becomes like this college party. And she says she only goes to the parties that her faculty, they call it faculty, invites, organizes. So specifically there, the university program creates these parties and then the girls would go to them.
Well, by default, if you have a university, odds are it's going to be already pretty much 50-50. And there's like, an understanding that it's going to be the right sort of people within the university. So it's a very warm sort of social circle event, which is awesome. Same as like, if you go to a frat party and you're in the frat, there's not other guys getting in who aren't either in that frat or very close friends of guys in the frat. And it's going to be a bunch of sorority girls, right? Frats figured this out a long time ago. So that's the whole Greek life in university. It's like the whole reason to be in a frat is to get access to women. And I think that was one of the big mistakes that I didn't realize, that as a guy in college, I didn't realize that's really what they were for. I was too naive to understand. But that's why frat guys who understand the value of being in a frat usually have really good social skills and game by the time they graduate college, because they understand these dynamics at a really deep level.
That's the only thing I remember, like kind of more recently, which there was a good ratio of like, a lot of young girls. It was fun. It was like it was organized by the university.
Right. So for a guy like you, you're a more sophisticated, you fit in with the university crowd. So I would try to go to those events all the time. I would try to even potentially teach a course at a university if you can, right? And then now you have status amongst a bunch of young, beautiful girls who, look up to their professor or the guy teaching the course, the guest professor or the guest lecturer, right? Have you ever considered doing any of that? Because you're a great writer. And
yeah, I mean, there was a time where like someone invited me to the faculty of journalism in Bucharest, and there was all these girls, and I got to talk.
Journalism is all hot chicks too. Maria's a journalist by that's what she got her degree in, journalism. Like it just attracts young, beautiful girls and not a whole lot of guys.
Yeah. But I remember the girl who I met at that party, university party, she says she only goes to the parties that are organized by that group. She doesn't go to like a club or just.
Right.
She's an intellectual type of girl. She has no interest in nightclubs. She wants to go to curated high status events only. Why would she go to a random shitty club where any fucking dildo can get in? Like, if the club doesn't have bottle service and a door guy and a very hard scrutinizing sort of entry process, like, hot girls don't go there. There's usually one or two clubs in the city, a city like Bucharest anyways, that are good, and the rest are kind of crap. obviously New York or LA, you probably have more like 5 or 6 or 7, and they each have their own kind of one night per week, right? Hyde on Fridays or Bootsy Bellows on Mondays, right? And they kind of make sure that they don't step on each other's toes, and they try to make all their money on that one night. So it's a crazy environment, but
it's just interesting because like it's always like I meet a girl and they know about this stuff or they go to this stuff. You know, like it's rare you meet the guy, the guy.
Well, that shouldn't be surprising at all because the girls are the ones getting invited. So yeah, they're going to know everything. Like if you want to know what's a cool place to go out in the city, like you ask hot girls. You don't ask fucking guys, because even guys who are, good looking or whatever, like there's nothing to signal that they know. Great, they're good looking. It doesn't mean they have a good game. It doesn't mean they know what's good, right? There's like a 5% or 1 to 5% of guys that you meet might have any clue about where to go or what to do, right? And they don't want you to know that they know, because why would they want you there unless they think you could do something for them?
Yeah, so I just think there's still something so interesting about like the ratios. If it's more women than men, then the women want to mingle with like people there. But if there's a lot more guys, like they stick to their friend group. They don't want to, it's just like kind of this human nature that I see.
Oh, totally. Well, yeah, and you posted that, and I talked about that a lot in the Blue Belt content. Just this sort of counterintuitive idea that men want a great ratio of women to men. Like we want to be in an environment where there's more women. So wouldn't women want to be in an environment where there's more men? The answer is no. Hell no. Because if that's the case, they're getting too much attention. Women love to compete with other women for high status men. And so now you don't have any competition. Women don't like to be harassed and approached by random guys. They want to be approached by the right guys. Right. So if you curate a crowd where it's very few men and tons of women, they feel comfortable and they feel safe. And then they also feel more excited because they understand that the only guys who got into that party are the sort of guys that they want. There's more of this idea of like honor amongst men, right? Like if you get in a fight with a guy, like usually you don't try to kick him in the balls immediately. Unless he's about to kill you, right? It's like we have a code that we live by. But women don't live by that code. When they get in a fight, they're pulling hair, they're scratching. Like there is no code of operating procedure, right? When the gloves come off, it gets real ugly real fast. So in those environments where they're competing for men, like they will be brutal competing with other women. Obviously, it's not going to go to a fight, although sometimes. But, as a guy, it's like if you see another guy talking to a girl, you're probably not real inclined to like go and just like interject and cut in. But like women have no problem like walking over and, trying to steal a guy away. So it's a much different environment. I'm not saying all women, of course, but like I think there's less of a threat of violence. Like if a woman does something that another woman doesn't like, the odds are that the woman is not going to react violently. So there's less danger there, right? Versus if you as a man do something to a random guy that he might not like, then the stakes are higher. So that could account for it right there.
Yeah, there's definitely a comfort level of them. Like I noticed, like I went to a Kiev club many, many years ago. It was like 70% women, and there was like hot chicks, and it would smile at me. It would never smile at me if it wasn't 70% women.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like, well, they're running the joint. They're comfortable, kind of. They can do things like that to guys.
And they want attention. They want guys to come and buy them drinks and have a nice conversation. Yeah, I mean, when I went out in Kiev for the first time, I thought I was in Disneyland. I'm like, whoa, my God, what is going on? There's so many beautiful women here. There's very few guys. The women are smiling at me. They're easy to approach. Some are approaching me. It's like, this is heaven on earth. That's why I moved there.
Robbie, I thought about this mathematically as well too. So places that have very high percent of men, right? Like really bad, like a high ratio of men. So the example is Alphabet City. A friend of mine wanted to meet up, and he's like, "Oh, let's go to this sports bar in Alphabet City. It's like an Irish bar, and you're gonna watch hockey." And I'm like, "What the fuck? Like that's horrible." Really, really bad, right? Like dive bar. And like he wanted to drink beer. Like, yeah, it's gonna be all dudes drinking beer, watching hockey, right? And it's relatively cheap, right? It's like an Irish dive bar. And so sort of the cost of the drinks and cost for the guys is relatively low because it's almost all guys, right? And you can imagine if a place is 70% women or a lot more women or whatever, right? The cost for the guys is going to be a lot higher because generally guys are the ones paying for it. Women don't often pay for things. So if the ratio is a lot of women, somehow the guys that are in there are paying even more money, a lot more money. Like, oh, it's a
Right.
table, and the table is four grand or whatever,
Totally.
right? Like, and so it's like at the end of the day, like these venues have different strategies for making money, right? Like the Irish dive bar is like, yeah, it'll be all dudes, but it's $5 beer.
Right.
That's right. But but the fancy place, like, no, it's a lot of women, $4,000 table or whatever.
Right. If you guys haven't tried New Brew and you're sick of alcohol, or you want something that still makes you feel kind of the same effects of alcohol, but way better without any hangover, check out New Brew. My buddy invented this stuff. He was a big drinker. Now he doesn't drink at all. And this stuff really does the trick. I can only drink one of these and then I'm pretty effed up. So they work. There's no cannabis. There's no booze. It's kratom leaf and kava root. So very good. Drink it responsibly. And go to the link in the description, drinknewbrew.com, and grab yourself some of that stuff. Then we get into a situation that comes up a lot. Say you're casually seeing someone, but suddenly you find yourself acting like her boyfriend, or she's trying to get you to act like her boyfriend, which girls are very good at getting you to do that. And one of the guys in the group shares a moment where things started to blur, and we unpack how to reset that frame.
And she's clearly into me. We had a good time. I really liked it too. And then after the party finished, we went to another bar. I met this other guy, and then the two girls, the guy and me, we went back to my place. We played Jenga, and then eventually I got her out on the balcony, and then we made out hard, kind of kissing, and she had her hand on my dick and was putting my hand on her pussy and was dry humping her on the balcony and everything. At some point, eventually, she's like, "Oh, I have to go home and call a taxi," or something like that. A few questions. But one is basically, I'm feeling like I'm slipping a little bit into the boyfriend frame with her. For example, one thing that she was saying is that she's having a birthday party in like 1 month and she wants to do a picnic, but she's looking for someone to come with her because all of her friends have boyfriends and she doesn't want to be the only single hanging out with a bunch of couples. And then also just based on other conversations, it feels like I'm slipping into that boyfriend frame a bit.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of signaled that, unfortunately, with the whole not banging her when she asked for condoms the first time. She might have thought like, oh, this guy wants to be my boyfriend because he's not. He's moving slow. I don't know if that really matters. There's a lot you can really do about that, right? Because if all of her friends are typically, or if they're all in relationships, like she said, and that's going to make her really want a boyfriend. And most girls want a boyfriend anyways, right? They don't really want to have a bunch of casual sex with random guys. So I'm not sure there's a lot you can do to sort of get her out of the I want as my boyfriend frame. I mean, that's good that she wants you as your boyfriend. So I would just stick to the rules of how we sort of manage those casual relationships. And, once you do hook up with her, just maintain the boundary so she doesn't get too close too soon.
Like my read is also that I can't do much right now. I basically have to wait until I hooked up with her 2 or 3 times and then have the whole relationship conversation.
Yeah, that's probably the way to go. The question is now, like, how can I sort of engineer something to see her again where it doesn't seem like I'm asking her on a date?
I already have something. She forgot her earrings at my place, and she actually already asked me when she can come and pick them up.
Perfect. She pulled a George Costanza. I don't know if you guys watched Seinfeld, but that was his move. He would leave an item at the girl's place knowing that he could invite himself back.
Yeah, clever. And then the whole, dry humping and kind of being quite explicit on the balcony, was that a good thing, or should I kind of keep that for the bedroom the next time?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great thing. Why didn't you not try to bang her on the balcony? She had her hand on your dick. Was it a sort of private enough balcony where you could have had sex on it?
I mean, there was a balcony and a window right attached to the balcony, and on the other side of the window was her friend and the other guy sitting. So
not as good. Well, did you try to then move her to your bedroom or anything?
She kind of asked for to go back in and then get a taxi before I was able to do that. I may should have been a bit quicker on that one. Do you have
a standard method you use to pull girls back into your bedroom? I talked about this on the last podcast. You should definitely listen to it because it kind of covers social dynamics where you're pulling girls from events and then trying to get them back into your room. The title is more about club game, but that's only a small piece of it.
Is it we just come up with some kind of excuse? So
Yeah, like one thing that I would usually use is I'd say I wanted to show them a specific YouTube video. One I used a lot was the hot crazy matrix. So I'd bring up the fact that like, oh, have you ever seen that hot crazy matrix video? And a lot of the time they'd be like, no, I'd be like, what? You haven't seen that? Like, that's crazy. I have to show it to you. It's all about there's this hot line, there's this crazy line, and it kind of shows you like as a girl, the hotter you are, the crazier you are. And I don't know, you're obviously very good looking. I'm not sure how crazy you are, but if you're not crazy, then you're a unicorn. So anyways, let's go watch the video. I'll show you real quick, and then I got to kick you out. Got to get my beauty sleep, right? So that's how I would pull her into my room. We'd start watching the video. And the great thing about that video is the framing is kind of puts the girls in their place a little bit too, right? Because it's all about social dynamics, and it shows that you understand that sort of stuff. And then it's pretty easy to just, start making out and hook up.
yeah, okay, all right. I'm gonna try that the next time.
And finally, someone asked whether hotter girls tend to use more push-pull and teasing. I'm going to give you my take on why that happens, what it really means, and how to keep your cool when it does.
I have another question.
Yeah?
So with this girl thing, I realized like she's good. Like
Different girl, same girl?
it's the same girl, just more general. Like she's pretty good at kind of playing with me, like the way she's flirting and kind of teasing and using push-pull and that kind of stuff. And I'm wondering, is that something you notice in general, that hot girls just have better game themselves? They kind of try to get more out of the guys they're with.
So the question is, do you notice that hot girls tend to be better at push-pull and teasing and kind of playing with guys?
Yeah, and also, getting some kind of advantage out of the guys.
Yeah, definitely. Hot girls are masters at these power games, right? Push-pull it's all a power dynamic, right? Who likes the other person more? So you're signaling, oh, actually, I don't like you as much as you like me, right? Because whoever is in the position of being more adored, or whoever likes who more, right? That person has a huge advantage in the relationship because they have to do way less work. The person who's more invested does way more work. So the trick is coming across like you're slightly less interested than you really are. And hot girls understand this to a very high level. I mean, they kind of learn it even when they're little girls, when they're cute little girls, they understand that they can just like ask for things and they'll get it. Even Texas, my dog, understands this. Like he knows how to turn on the cuteness and the charm. And he knows if he's cute, he's going to get a treat or he's going to get whatever he wants. And people are just going to be really nice to him. Like he loves strangers, right? He's a big fluffy husky. I've never met a dog who likes strangers, random people. He'll just go right up, like try to lick them, and then he just gets food, right? So he completely understands if I'm nice to people, I get food. And I'm going to be as cute and nice as possible, right? And then he doesn't care about me. He's a dick to me because he knows I'm going to give him food. He literally, like when I call him, he won't even come. He's a fucking asshole, but he loves new people because they might give him new food. So.
But girls on dating apps love him too.
Oh yeah. That's why you guys all have photos of him on your profile. So
They give him virtual food all the time.
So yeah, I mean, these girls get it really early on. They're like, okay, I can just do a little bit and get all this shit from them. And they know how to weed guys out. They know how to test them to see who's full of it and who's the real deal.
I'd also say hotter girls, they have a much bigger freedom to walk away. Like they don't care. They don't care that much. They really don't care. It's like whatever. There's just 10 other guys that want them as well because they're hot. So they're like they can set a pretty low bar for walking away. If they don't get what they want, walk away.
Right. Like any good negotiator, right? The winner is the guy who's willing to walk away, or the person who's willing to walk away. And hot girls, they can walk away from every deal because it's endless deals coming their way, right. At least for a period of time, right? When they're in that window of the most desirable, it's just infinity deals. So they're only going to take the absolute best of the best, and easy game for them. Orion Taraban talks about that, the please no games. As a man, you have to get really good at winning please no, and women are already, they're very comfortable being in the position of no. It's just their default position. And most of us got
Please no.
please no it's just a very rudimentary improv game where one person is the asker and one person is the giver, right? So when it comes to sexual dynamics, the woman is the giver of sex and the man is the asker, right? So the guy has to keep saying, please, 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 and her job is to say no, 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 no. The winner wins when he gets her to say yes, right? And so guys do all sorts of things to get the girl to say yes, like all of your wooing and charming and luring and this, that, and whatever. And it's the girl's job to keep trying to scam you and say, no, 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 no. So as a guy, the better you can get at that game, the better that is game, right? You have to not care. That it's her job to say no. Guys who are like scared of rejection, they're like, oh, I might get no. Like that's default. That is just life. So, if you're not willing to get a no, like you have no shot. It's the guy who's willing to get the most no's and doesn't care is going to get the most yeses.
One thing that I want to try more with is kind of holding up the tension that's existing as long as I possibly can without pushing for sex in the future. Because I feel that's just my edge right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the ultimate move for a man is if you can signal to her that you don't actually care if you have sex with her or not. It's like, okay, it'd be fun. I'd be down, but I don't care. I have plenty of other people that are interested in that, and you're welcome to say yes, you're welcome to say no. That is the most attractive sort of position a woman can be in with a guy. I remember hearing a story about a Playboy model who ended up choosing her husband because he didn't get turned on during a photo shoot when she was naked. He just didn't care, and it drove her crazy because every other guy, lost their shit, but not him. So that's the whole playing the long game thing. Out of all the guys I know, the only ones who managed to consistently win the game are those who built and invested in a high-status social circle. You can certainly approach women and try your luck on the apps if you're a Chad, but those strategies simply don't work consistently to attract top-tier women and awesome friends into your life. But for most guys, the idea of building a social circle can feel overwhelming, so they continue to hunt for women in their usual ways and end up settling for a girl they were never really that excited about in the first place. To avoid this fate, join our community and instantly plug into a highly vetted social circle of cool dudes to network and navigate your journey with. You already know it's hard to find wingmen because the good ones don't stay in the game very long. Many of our members travel together, end up living together, build amazing circles, and even businesses together, both in the West and in many of the best locations around the globe with gorgeous women and low cost of living. I'm extremely careful who I let into this community, but if you feel like you'd make a good fit, you can apply to join. The link's in the description.